Hmm. Um. So I kind of be torn behind this because I think we always should conduct ourselves with respect, right? You should carry yourself in a respectable manner that's universal across the board. But it kind of seemed like we tiptoe into that like respectability politics, I like this. I know you was talking about your dread. I mean, excuse me, your locks.
Yes, sir. Locks.
That's
Yes, sir.
a derogatory term to call a
Yes,
dread.
sir. Yes, sir.
Uh, but there are people who still will look at the locks and find them unacceptable for whatever reason, right? And then something in me feel like, well, I wouldn't even say feel like the historical context behind things that are uniquely ours get demonized to the point that it's like part of embracing who we are is bucking against the things that they would push back on. So like if you look at the 60s, I feel like that's why everybody grew their hair out, right? They were proudly who they naturally were.
Right.
And
With the pros.
yeah, and to do that is almost seen as a defying act. So it brings me to the point where it's like, so if me being my natural self is a defying act, it feels like the society is against me.
Well, I think so. So let's be very clear. I don't think he never said anything. I think that the biggest thing is, when we're talking about things like that, that's like minor. That's all about, some people just preference, they like this, they like that, right? I think we are more focused at this point of the discuss. Like, for example, like the music,
Mhm.
the trend of anything goes, like anything that any other culture will find to be a disgrace, we put it on a pedestal, and say like, no, it's not a disgrace. This is how we are as African American people. It's okay to show your booty hole. Let's show it and talk about it. It's okay to have one dude this night play this dude. The things that we boast about, it's just not like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Can,
the idea because I agree with you, Marcus. I think that was the like what he was saying, how in the 60s they grew out their flow because they were trying to be like counterculture, right?
right.
And so I understand even I would say in the 80s and the 90s, especially like with the naming of your, especially if you were like 5%ers or whatever, like Taekwon, Raekwon, like
Mhm.
all of those were a level of identity to reclaim your
Hmm.
blackness, right? And
Mhm.
present it in a way that's counterculture to trying to um, assimilate, you know what I'm saying, to what we deemed as white culture. But I think what ended up happening is we got to the point where we start accepting the counterculture as saying that it's okay to be trash. Like it, you know what I'm saying? Like started
Uh-huh.
accepting trash culture and then started calling it black culture. And so
Hmm.
now everything negative is associated with black culture because
Hmm.
as a culture trying to, be so different than
Mhm.
white culture that it kind of went to the extreme. And so now we're at this part, at this end, trying to bring it back. And that's why I say I just don't know how we will be able to bring it back because of how far gone we have gotten. You know what I'm saying? So that's the part. So I agree with you, but it's the how do we
Yeah.
still maintain respect and dignity as a people while still maintaining our own culture, doing our own thing, because we do have that natural influence just in a way that who we are is just natural. But now we're, pull having influence in a negative way.
Yeah, I think so in trying to make sure that we championed and got behind anything that was like presumably for us. a lot of stuff snuck in under the radar as things that we probably should have shunned, but we let go because we wanted to. It's kind of like what they say with women right now, right? Not to just drift this conversation. I'm just using this as an example. Let's not get on the women, but I'm just kind of like with women when they say like, all right, the behavior of some women, instead of women just outright saying we against that, a slut walk, they don't speak on it or say anything. But you look at it and you like, well, it's because they sexuality been demonized so much that they don't want to partake in demonizing the sexuality of women. So it's like the black man and black women been demonized so much, you kind of don't want to jump in and stop people like or champion when somebody is going against another black man or woman. Unfortunately, it's got historical context as to the reason we feel that way, but it does come out on the negative end for us because we allow things to get pushed forward. And then in us defending it, the people who are in charge of programming, be it like television programming, movie programming, media programming, print ad publication, they focus on it. And the sensationalized things become what is the representative of our culture. At this point, we're not really selecting what our culture is. We kind of getting our marching orders and falling in line. The people that's selecting it are the people who sign artists, who sign models, who sign clothing lines, who's the people who push the money behind it have the ability to push those things.
But we
to this day that a lot of us never heard of, right?
What'd
you say?
My bad. We have to also pay attention to the fact that the only way that these people are going to sign these artists is if there's a demand for them. If there's a desire and a want for them, then that's who they're going to sign. You know what I'm saying? It isn't current day. I can only believe maybe back in the 80s, in the 90s, yeah, there may have been for sure an agenda to push and promote a certain type of music to get black people to go astray, for sure. But right now, I don't think that that's necessarily the case.
Who the number one consumer of our music?
You said who's the number one consumer of our music?
White people.
Who cares? You know what I'm saying? Like
my point. You said that there would have to be a market for it, and I'm saying that if we don't dictate what the market wants,
right? But I'm saying the white people want that because that's what we've been pushing. That's what we've been encouraging. I used to act. I used to do acting full time some years back. I worked on Chicago Fire. I worked with Empire for 4 seasons. I worked on Shameless. Worked on a lot of different projects, even in theater as well. And what I kept experiencing was I was getting typecasted. I was getting typecasted for the no good boyfriend, the drug dealer, the nigga that just came home from jail. These were the roles that I continued to get. And it was like, you know what? This is not the image that I want to portray. You know what I'm saying? Even though I may look like a gangbanger, even though I used to gangbang, you know what I'm saying? Even though
you was a Black Stone, weren't you?
No, I was a gangster. Growth and development.
You look like a Stone.
Yeah,
I know. You know, y'all Stones be having a look from outside.
I got that I got that my entire, you know what I'm saying, my entire life damn near. Yeah. But I had a lot of family that was Stones.
You look just like 15 Stones I know offhand.
Hey, I get that all the time.
Like the name Gizmo.
Come on, fucking go, man.
But I stepped away. I stepped away from the industry for that very reason, because I didn't want to cut my hair. You know what I'm saying? Of course, in Hollywood, they'll make you cut the beard, but or trim it, have it lower. But I didn't want to cut my hair. I got a bunch of tattoos. You know what I'm saying? So I just fit that stereotype. But it was like, that's not what I want to do, for one. And two, that's not challenging me as an actor. You know what I'm saying? So it was my own decision to walk away from it and do something different, in which I got behind the camera instead of being in front of it. You know what I'm saying? To present myself in a different manner. So it is a person's it's their own choice to make the decision of I'm going to continue to prepare to feed into this thing, this stereotype that we all live by. You know what I'm saying? And also continue to put out a bullshit message that's continuing to plague our culture. You know what I'm saying? So that's up to that person. And if you choose to make that decision, then hey, that's your choice. You know, more power to you. We're in a free country to be able to do whatever it is that you want to. But at some point in time, you're gonna have to pay for that. You know what I'm saying, for your actions in whatever way, type and manner that comes.
So I think my general premise was that whatever you incentivize tends to be the thing people gravitate to.